Let's talk today about the real reason toxic employees seldom get fired, so it seems. You've probably noticed that a lot of toxic employees in the office, seem to hang around. But the quiet, hard-working ones seem to take the fall a lot of times. And that's not an accident. And you know what? You're not imagining it. So today I want to talk about the real reason these toxic employees seem to keep their jobs. Before I get into it, I'll ask you to, if you like my content, to remember to hit the like button. And if you have not subscribed, please do so because it helps a whole lot in allowing me to bring content like this to you. I enjoy doing that. All right, let's get into it. First up, they fear a lawsuit. Employers fear lawsuit. They know that these people are loud and they keep them because of litigation risks. I mean, these are the employees who threaten lawsuits. They have no problem doing that. They talk openly about knowing their rights and they document everything. And I guess they probably document everything because they know their rights. They push back on management. I mean, they are already hostile and unpredictable. And so they're kind of bullies, bullies even where management is concerned. And employers know that if they fire that person, that toxic, loud person, there's a really high likelihood that they will file an EEOC charge, that they will go out and contact a lawyer, that they're going to claim retaliation, discrimination, harassment, whatever. They know that they won't hear the last of them for a while. And you know what? Lawsuits are crazy expensive, especially employment lawsuits. They're also really disruptive. Managers have to leave so they can appear in court, and it just is very stressful. So management will ask itself, is it cheaper to just keep them or should we fire them? And that answer can change and often does change over time. But at least initially, the response is, it's probably just cheaper to keep them. Second thing is compliant employees really just don't fight back, not that often. So let's talk about the employees who do get fired, those compliant employees. They're usually the ones who will do their job well. They avoid conflict. They try to be really easy to work with. They still assume that fairness exists. Sad that that's, the way it is, but they oftentimes believe that their loyalty to the company is going to be the thing to protect them. From the employer's perspective, these employees are low risk. So let me know if you have ever experienced anything like this or seen it happen. Those employees are the ones, these low risk employees, they're less likely to go to the EEOC. They're probably not going to go out and hire a lawyer. They're not going to create any public drama. They're probably not going to give much pushback after termination. But let me tell you something, when they do, things change. But meanwhile, when companies need to clean house or to protect management, they need a fall guy. They usually go with the employee who's going to give them the least pushback. The employee becomes their scapegoat. So let me also make clear, just because they're toxic doesn't mean they're not good at their job. And a lot of times I think that's why they are so toxic. A lot of people, other employees watching what's happening will think, they are so toxic, they create so much drama. Surely management will fire them. Not necessarily. I mean, many toxic employees are high performers. They hit all the metrics. They bring in a lot of money. They hold institutional knowledge, meaning they know where the bodies are buried in addition to that. And they're protected by someone higher up. So let me tell you, this is probably what I see most often. You have this employee who's been around forever and they're really good. And management both appreciates them, but they also fear them. I had a case several months back where the manager, the store manager, was just a terror. But he was so good. I mean, he treated customers one way, and that's really good that he treated customers really well. They loved him, and he brought in a lot of money for the company. But when it came to employees, if you were not on his favorites list, he made it very clear he didn't care if his comments were racist, and they oftentimes were. Didn't matter. And management let him get away with it forever. I mean, for years. For years. He was not quiet about his feelings. If you didn't look like him, then you didn't fit in with him, and he let you know that. And so they ended up losing a lot of good employees until one employee stood up to him, and that happened to be my client. And my client thought that they were not going to fire him. And I said, yes, they're going to fire him now. They're going to wait until the lawsuit is over, because if they fire him while the lawsuit is pending, it's a tacit admission that he did something wrong. I said, but you just wait. As soon as the lawsuit ends, they're going to fire him. Someone finally stood up to him. And you know why that made a difference? Because it cost them money. It cost the company money. And so as soon as my client stood up, it flipped the script entirely. But as long as they're useful or scary enough and not costing them money, they'll just find different ways to label their behavior. Oh, he just has a strong personality. Oh, they're difficult but effective. That's just how they are. Meanwhile, the compliant employee gets labeled not a culture fit, or not aligned with leadership, whatever that means. People will go out of their way to make whatever they need fit their narrative. No problem doing that. Twisting facts. Employers manage risk at the end of the day, not fairness. This is a part that people either don't like to hear about or but it's a sad reality. They either don't understand or just don't want to hear it. Most workplace decisions are not about fairness. It's just not. They're not about morality, and they are not even about who deserves to stay. They're about risk management. I mean, that's the name of the game. It's all about money. Kind of sad. That's why you should treat your job as a business transaction. Who is most likely to cost the company money? Who is going to expose them legally? Who's going to disrupt leadership? These are the questions that they're asking. Toxic employees come with risk after termination. Compliant employees rarely do. But like I say, when they step out and they do, things change. Things change. So guess who stays until that happens? The toxic employees. So, the lesson for employees who are not toxic, there are several lessons to this. And it's not to become a toxic employee. It's a reminder to stop being invisible, legally invisible, that is. It's a reminder to document everything. Just like the toxic employee lets them know that they know their rights, you can do the same thing. Speak up strategically. You don't have to be loud. And stop assuming good behavior will protect you, because it's a different time. It's not enough. Treat work like a business transaction, and go to work, get your check, and go home is my philosophy. And there's a reason why I feel that way, because loyalty without leverage is just trust with no protection. And who benefits from that? Nobody except your employer. So at the end of the day, if you're wondering why the wrong people stay, why these toxic people are allowed to hang around and the right people end up being pushed out, now you know. It's legal exposure, and it's all about money. But when you step up and you speak up for yourself, it changes things. When that person who's toxic is a high producer, but then they start costing the company money because you stand up to them and you let them know you're not going to be a pushover, things will change. Is what I see all the time. See you next shift.